Okay, welcome back again. So anyone confirm please? Are you able to see the Word document? Is it my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Okay, we are talking about the area operator responsibilities. So I think we are at 7.5.3 incoming shift operator. Yep, I think this point already we covered. And the area operator shall keep himself aware of all the jobs being executed in his area and also ensure safe conditions are mentioned. Yes, definitely he will see the all the conditions or the safety precautions suggested by the issuers. He has to ensure that, and he shall keep, maybe here maybe he or she both will be there, so he shall keep a watch on the jobs and also take appropriate action if any hazardous conditions is developed during the course of the work. If the conditions warrant, he may suspend the job and also immediately inform to the shift in charge or shift engineer. So he will be monitoring the activity. So in case of any such situations arises or develops, so immediately he will stop the activity and inform to the in charge or shift engineer. Again, the incoming operator of the next shift is responsible for ensuring the conditions of the permit. Again, like as usual, the area in charge, same way, he is also uh, responsible for the activity which is happening is in area. And after the work permit is complete, the acceptor should ensure that the housekeeping of the area is back to the normal before signing the permit as complete. Here, the acceptor. So before signing the permit completion, so he should do a proper housekeeping and keep it back to as normal before. Then he can sign. Prior to that, he is not supposed to be. Now we'll see in other conditions like Srinivas mentioned. So interplant clearances. So maybe this scenario is applicable for pipeline infra, even some of the pharmaceutical companies also, because in one area they'll have multiple units. The pipeline will goes or crosses from one unit to other unit, but it is a similar example. I think we can use it for pipeline infra as well. So when I say interplant clearances for the jobs on pipeline which terminates in other plant or other district, the person permitting the work should inform and consent with the signature of the area in charge or shift in charge shall be taken in each shift to ensure the line is safe for the work, which is from different districts or different plants. If the work is to be carried out on the equipment or the facility which connects other plant, where the safety of the job relies on the isolations which are outside the control of the plant on which the work is to be carried out, a permit shall be endorsed by the shift in charge of the both the plants on the permit. So Srinivas, I think in your case, hence the pipelines are interconnected from one station to other station. If you are working on in between any station, prior to the station which is feeding to the station where you are going to work, the both the people have to be aligned and they have to sign on the permits. Okay, it depends on
But
completely. Huh.
sir, in our case, jurisdiction was fixed, sir. Like we are working in Pune region.
Mm-hmm.
So 194-kilometer stretch pipeline comes under our jurisdiction. So
Okay.
whenever we work on our jurisdiction, we are responsible for that area,
Okay. Okay.
like
No,
that.
but no, within your jurisdiction you mentioned five stations are there, right?
No, total 10 stations.
Total 10 stations. For example,
Uh, uh,
the first station is feeding to the second station. I mean, it is in
yes.
a parallel only, right?
Series.
Sorry. It
Uh,
is coming to the second, and from second it will go to the third. For
yes.
example, if at all I want to perform an activity in the station 3,
Uh,
so I mean that station 2 people also informed and they should also involved in this activity, because from there
uh,
it will get supply, right?
no,
How
sir,
it
no,
is?
sir. It's not like that in our pipeline industry.
Okay.
Two compressor station, two employees will not be knowing about three permits. Like we can see in the portal, but
Mm-hmm.
they will not be informed about the other station works. Until and unless it is very important in the pipeline, it won't be like
No,
that.
that is what. If you are working on a pipeline,
Uh,
then they should be informed, right? If you are doing any isolations or if you are opening a pipeline, in such a case, how you will perform?
yeah, in that planning will be there, sir, where
Okay.
common to all area in charges that will be discussed in the morning meetings.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the situation is like that only. If at all,
Ah, yeah, yes,
such
yes.
is circumstances comes, the both the plants in charges has to be signed on the permit copy whenever the isolations are required. If the common pipeline, if the both if one station people are working, it is
Ah,
connecting to the other stations, so both
hmm.
people have to be signed on the permit.
But sir,
It is
with
not
the
necessary for all the
planning,
activities. Yeah.
uh, with proper planning, it will be done in the pipeline, but not both area in charges will be approving the permit.
Okay,
You
so
know,
how I mean the incoming supply and all, how it happens?
we are getting from Reliance Industries
Okay.
at Gadimoga.
Mm-hmm.
That gas will be flowing. CS1 will be always in running condition. That
Mm-hmm.
will be pushing to CS3 and CS3 to CS7, CS7 to downstream. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
So in case if at all I want to do any some work on the pipeline, how we'll do? You will inform to the Reliance
That
or
area jurisdiction area in charge is responsible, sir.
no? That is
Like
fine.
one
How
150
you'll
kilometers.
isolate? How you'll isolate that supply from Reliance? How you stop that?
Uh, Generally, gas won't be stopped, sir. I haven't seen that case. Continuous gas
Then
will be there. There is some change or facility like if we want to stop CS1, gas
mm-hmm.
will be directly supplied to CS3. That will be
Okay,
pulling
you
the gas.
have a bypass lines as well.
Yes, in
Okay,
such a way we'll
understood.
manage the gas.
Understood. Now I understood your infrastructure. So you
Yes,
have a bypass line so that wherever you have a problem, that
uh,
line you will just isolate and you will perform the activity. Meanwhile, it is the supply will goes through from the bypass lines.
right, sir.
Okay. Then
Several
in this
combinations are
situation,
there.
yeah,
Mm.
in this because of different combinations, you can do. I think in this case, then you need not to. I mean, get involved with the other station in charge. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That's where from the beginning of the session I'm telling, because conditions are different, so we have to change our SOPs according to our working conditions. Okay, understood. Good. Okay, so 8.2, for any maintenance work on outside the battery pipeline limit, supply raw materials, chemicals, and utilities, the owner of the pipeline authorizes the work on such lines and issues the work permit. In your case, your own station in charge will be issuing signing on the permit. Then interplant clearances necessitating the isolation to the battery limit for receiving plants or facilities are required before starting any activity, and the receiving plant will issue a separate work permit for necessary isolations to their maintenance department. Again, it is a different case. And pipeline infra, it is not the case. With the other situations, they have to take a necessary permit for the isolation from the two different units. In 8.4, if the work area falls under the ownership of another plant or department, the owner of the pipeline obtains a separate work permit from the area owner where the job is required to be carried out. This depends on other areas. In case of other pipelines are running adjacent to the line where the work is to be carried out, the owner of the pipeline identifies and also intended clearly uh, pipeline clearly and displays the identification marks along the pipeline before issuing of the permit. If there are any two different pipelines are going adjacent to it, so we have to give an identification marks on which pipeline they have to perform the activity. And this is to avoid the unintended work on any charged pipelines by mistake. So sometimes they may work on the live line instead of the deadline, so that we have to identify on which pipeline we are going to perform an activity. The acceptor should take in necessary precautions against the damage to the adjacent charged pipelines during the execution of the work, and also possible situations of emergency due to sudden release of processed materials from nearby the pipelines. So he has to take all those such precautions also in case of mistakenly, if they involved with the charged line, if something went wrong, they should be ready with those emergency precautions or action plan. Then revalidation and renewals, it is about validation of the permits and also revalidation, which means renewal of the permits. Permit shall be issued by the initiator or issuer for the permit till end of the shift only. In the case of job is not taken up or not completed within the same shift of the issue of the permit must be renewed by endorsement of incoming shift in charge by incorporating ensuring necessary changes in the safety requirements. As per the standard, they're telling about shift only. It is 8 hours or 9 hours. If it is within the shift, it is not completed, you can extend by the incoming shift in charge with the respective safety precautions incorporated. And the executor shall sign and forward it to the issuing authority for extension of the work permit. The validity of the radiography permit shall be a single use only, and the duration of which shall be mentioned in the permit itself. If it is in radiography, it is only single use, they can't extend it, they have to apply a new permit. Then comes to revalidation renewal of the permit. If the work is to be continued without interruption beyond the approved time limit, then the work permit requires to be revalidated. If the work is suspended for the rest of the day and is restarted on the next day, the work permit requires a renewal. If it is a continuation, it is in a revalidation. If it is stopped and again you are doing it in the following day, it will go for a renewal. There are two ways. Renewal, it means stopped and again you are restarting tomorrow. If you are continuously doing, you just revalidate. The work permit will be revalidated or renewed by the issuer when a requested by the acceptor. The acceptor approaches the issuer with an acceptor's copy of the work permit, duly filled in the details of extension required at the backside of the work permit and also signed by him. So he will come with the acceptor, the contractor or your own company's team. They'll come to the issuer and they will fill all the details in the permit backside with his signature. So he will mention till what time he need an extension. Then he will sign and give it to an issuer for his approval. The revalidation or renewal of the work permit will be done by the issuer after a joint site inspection along with the acceptor. Again, here also for revalidation, again they have to perform a joint inspection. Then only they have to sign on the permit. After extension of validity or renewal of the work permit, it is required to be endorsed by the area operator again. All the signing authorities must sign the permit extension of the permit. It does not mean that okay, simply only area in charge, the executor, acceptor, and also area operator also has to be signed on the revalidation. So the validity of the work permit could work, and a cold work, hot work, and vessel entry permit and excavation shall be for 7 days. Upon completion of 7 days, new permit is to be issued. So here, cold, hot, vessel entry permits and excavation permits shall be for 7 days. So for 7 days, you can validate and you can renew. Then next time after 7 days, you will go for a new permit copy. So for all the 7 days, you will have a single copy where there you will have a provision of revalidation and also renewal for the next 7 days. Again, a gas test before revalidation renewal of the permit. So necessary gas test should be carried out at the time of revalidation, renewal of work permit. The result of the gas test will be recorded in the appropriate columns on the backside of the permit by the gas tester with his signatures. Again, we'll have a table in the backside of the permit where you will write all the results of your gas test, and also the gas tester has to be signed. So mostly the gas testers here, the safety team will be doing this gas test. Then comes to we are almost end to the topic, closure and also cancellation of the permits. And what are the situations the permit will be closed or it will be cancelled? The permit can be extended for a total of 7 calendar days maximum. The work extension or extending beyond the 7 days, a new work permit has to be issued after closing the present work permit. And also, if there is a break in a work for more than 1 calendar day, a new permit has to be issued. So here the condition is, if you are continuously working, it is fine. The permit will be used for 7 days. In case of if you got a gap of 1 calendar day, again you have to go for a new permit copy. After completion of the job, agency undertaking the job must ensure that all the tools, tackles, men, and material has to be removed from the workplace, and the work area has to be made clean. Guards, gatings, railings, if you have been removed, shall be fixed properly. Again, machine guards or gratings and also railings. Gratings will be over the machines will have jolly kind of frames. Then railing will be adjacent to your work area or platform or staircase, etc. Has to be fitted back. Now, all the signing authorities for the approval must be signed the permit closure to the permit. So, whoever signed during the authorization of the permit, the same way after completion of the work, also everybody has to be signed back. On completion of the job before the time expiry of the permit, a permit must be returned to the issuing authority within the status of the job, date and time duly marked on permit. So, after, immediately completion before the time of expiry. So he has to give before the time of expiry, not after. So during the permit itself, they will sign. Okay, morning 6 p.m. Before 6 p.m. they have to sign. No, practically it will happens 5-10 minutes here and there, but it is fine. It is up to the organization how they can have the threshold. Then cancellation of the permit. So when it is getting cancelled, the permit shall be cancelled under the following conditions. One, declaration of the plant or site emergency situations. In case of any emergency situation happen or emergency situation developed, it will automatically get cancelled. Any accident at the work permit area or permit conditions are violated. So in these three conditions, the permit will get cancelled. In the case of A and B, acceptor should stop the work and cancel the permit automatically. While the case of C, it will be by any of the signatories of the work permit or an auditor. So 1 and 2 cases, acceptor should stop the activity or it will cancel automatically when any emergency situation happens or any accident happens. In the conditions of violation, permit condition violation, any signatories or acceptor or area in charge or the audit team or permit auditors, if they found any such violations, they can cancel the permit. Then permit can be suspended for a short duration of the work conditions are not meeting the conditions specified in the work permit until such time the conditions are rectified. This can be done by any of the signatories of the work permit or an authorized auditor. Sometimes what will happen, they will agree for some conditions, they have implemented only 50% out of 10, they have implemented only 8 or 9. So one condition they have not meeting the requirement, they can stop the activity till the compliance of the 10 activities. Till the point of time we can stop the activity. Then audits. So audits will be the auditors authorized by the HOD or the HOD safety will audit the work permits. A detailed audit checklist will be developed for use by the HOD safety. So auditors will be authorized by the HODs or the HOD safety, head of the department safety, and they will have a audit checklist will be developed by the head of the safety department. What is the purpose of it? The purpose of audit is to ensure the permit preparation is adequately done, keeping in mind the hazards involved. Then the job conditions are met, the use of PP is followed, the job is carried out in a safer manner, and the permit procedure are followed. That is the prime purpose of doing the audits. One is all the preparations are done based on the hazards they have identified, and the job conditions are met, and the PPs are properly used, and also the job is performed in a proper manner instead of taking shortcuts or taking overload, etc. And also permit procedure is properly followed. Some of the auditor functions. So we'll see what is the role of an auditors here. One is by examining the permits in a book to see if they are filled correctly and the right precautions have been identified. So one is record keeping, because whenever any accident happens in such situations, the permit is the prime evident or prime evidence for investigation. So the audit is very important, that whether all the uh, records or the permit is properly filled or not. By examining the actual execution of the job, ensuring that the compliance with what is addressed. So one is they will write the compliance or the safety precautions in the permit, whether in the physical execution of the job, whether they have implemented or not. They can compare. And the frequency of audit shall be random, but at least once in a week, or total in 7 days, at least once in a week. It is up to the organization, they can keep it every day or twice in a week or thrice in a week, but as per the standard, at least once in a week they have to do this audit. The permit auditor submits a report to the section chief or HOD of the plant. It is the responsibility of the plant HOD to take corrective actions as per the recommendations suggested or given in the audit. Once the done, it will be submitted to the HOD or a plant in charge. They have to take appropriate actions because it is there under jurisdiction. A permit audit finding shall be communicated to the both issuer and the acceptor for immediate compliance. So it will be informed to the acceptor and the issuer, because they are the people, they mutually agreed, okay, we are going to implement all these safety precautions, we are going to follow this procedure to follow to completion of this activity. Then permits may be cancelled by the auditor at any moment if conditions are found not satisfactory, change or situation, change in the agreed conditions. If it
But
is not meeting,
sir,
yeah,
this is audit finding, na? But in during that permit, but auditor is not. If he is available, then he can stop the permit work.
yes. अभी इधर
But it is not.
हाँ, इधर ऑडिटर बोले तो हमारी ये सेफ्टी ऑफिसर ही ऑडिटर होता है.
Okay, okay, okay.
ये जो
He
हमारा
can
एक्सटर्नल
stop.
ऑडिटर ना, वो नहीं है.
But sir, in our
सेफ्टी
case,
ऑफिसर हिमसेल्फ एक्ट एज एन ऑडिटर.
sir, in our case, na, we are the permit issuer and we are the safety in charge.
Safety in charge, permit approver, permit issuer.
सब
सब
हम
एक ही
लोग ही
ऑलराउंडर।
हाँ हाँ।
ऑलराउंडर, हम
तो
कुशल सभी
ऑलराउंडर
देखते हैं,
ऑलराउंड
सेफ्टी कॉर्डिनेटर
ऑलराउंडर
है।
नहीं चलेगा, ऑलराउंडर नहीं चलेगा। और
वो
you should dedicate that safety activity or auditor activity to somebody else, because you should not be as an actor as an auditor, or you should not be act as an issuer. So it is
तो सर
That area
हमें
taken.
एग्जैक्टली मीन
huh,
सर वी वेदर वी वर्क एज अ सेफ्टी ऑफिसर वी एज वर्क एज अ परमिट इश्योर।
if you are acting as an issuer, again you should not
हाँ
act as an Srinivas can act as a safety officer. If Srinivas is acting as an issuer, Lakshmi does act as a safety officer. So you
ओके सर,
should be
इंटर कंप्रेसर स्टेशन
independent.
कैन बी डन, ऐसा
हाँ
ऐसा कर
हाँ,
सकते
you
हैं,
should
दूसरा
be
स्टेशन काम कर सकते हैं।
yes, interstations can be done. That is in the right idea.
ओके सर, ओके, राइट।
Yeah, because the auditors also will, they should be independent. They should not influenced by Srinivas, or they should not influenced by Lakshmi Das. अरे यार मेरा बंदा ही है, he is my officer or he is my junior, he is my superior. Not like that. We should be act as an independent.
ओके ओके।
Now this is our key area, so hence we are going to change our profiles to safety. So the HOD responsibility, head of the safety. So HOD safety shall arrange to train and validate all people involved in the signing of the work permit procedures. A list of such people authorized to sign in the work permit should, uh, however, to be prepared by the individual plant HODs and the area in charge. The final authorization shall be done by the respective plant HODs or area in charge as the format attached. So here the safety HOD has to train all the people who is involved in this permit issuing and permit procedure. But the list will be prepared by the HODs of the plant in charges. Based on that list, safety head is going to train all of them on this procedure. HOD safety shall also arrange to provide training and validating people identified as auditors of these procedures. The auditors will be from the plants or safety department. दोनों तरफ से हो सकता है, इधर प्लांट साइड भी हो सकता है सेफ्टी ऑडिटर्स, और सेफ्टी डिपार्टमेंट्स में भी हो सकता है. सो फ्रॉम either side we can choose the auditors. They'll be act as an independent, so they should not have any pressure. Sir Srinivas to mera boss hai, if I give any non complaints he will be scold me, or he will see me in my appraisals, or he will give less rating, like that. So they should be independent from that. He shall provide necessary training materials and develop procedures for validation and authorization of various signatories to work permit to close coordination with the plant HOD and the area in charges. He has to develop a training procedure, a training material to validation of those authorization of various signatories. For example, conducting a training program and doing some mock examination whether they have understood the procedures properly. And he is responsible for periodic review and updating of work permit procedures. So ultimately, safety officer or HOD is responsible for updating this permit procedures. So he have to develop a procedure, he has to develop a safety training material to train the team who is involved in the permit activity. Then he is responsible for reviewing and updating. Then where a difference arise in the interpretation of the work permit procedure, the same shall be resolved by the safety HOD. Interpretation means understanding. Like ISO standards will have interpretation. Different people have different understanding on each word. So in case of any such discrepancies, the HOD has to resolve those misinterpretation. Okay. Then plant HOD, the plant HOD or area in charge shall identify all the personnel involved in the work permit system and train and validate the in coordination with HOD safety. And the plant HOD will publish a list of the authorized person in the prescribed format after due validation of the training. So ultimately, plant head, he is going to be authorized list of people or authorized to sign on the permits. Then record keeping. So the original or acceptor copy and all closed permits shall be kept by the issuer for a period of at least 30 days from the closure of the permit. It again at least 30 days. So again, it is up to the organization. As per the ISO, I think they will keep it for 5 years, if I'm not wrong, or 3 years, the documentation. So here at least 30 days from the closure of the day, they have to preserve that permit copies. Any question?
Yes, sir, for hard work for I think hard work and confines for 30 days, and normal the cold work is 30 days also. Sorry, hot
Yes.
work, cold work initially 90 days, and cold work is
Okay.
only for 30 days.
Okay.
Because cold work, hot workers confines may not happen every day. That's why
Yeah.
you can keep in a minimum 90 days for record purpose in during audit.
Yeah, that is also works, because that's why they have mentioned here at least 30 days. You can keep it for even year also. That is up to us, how the
But as per standards,
organization.
what is the standard, sir?
Here it is 30 days, Lakshmi Das ji. At least
Only
30
30
days.
days. What are the
Yeah.
all three cold work, hot work, confined
Whatever it
space?
is, minimum 30 days.
Okay, okay, sir.
Maximum up to us. I mean, as per our requirement, we can keep it.
Sir, if it is online, we have throughout the year, sir, copies.
Yeah, that is in your case it is completely different. आपका
Yes,
तो
sir.
ये वैलिडेशन नहीं है, आप जब चाहिए आप रिट्रीव कर सकते हैं परमिट कॉपी को.
Right, sir.
Yeah, I think these are the annexure copies of cold work permit. I think this we have seen sample. These are the checklist or residual hazards associated with the activity. You just simply tick it. So this is how the issuer and the permittee or receiver, the signatures will happen. Signature, date, name, and also designation, telephone number. Then closing of the permit. So in the closing also, I certify that the subject of the work has been completed, stopped, and the area also cleared. When I say area is cleared, it means he is put it back to the normal condition like before. And the issuer, first receiver is signing. In the while issuing, first issuer is signing, and after receiver is signing. While closing, receiver is signing first, then issuer is signing second. Verified that the job has been completed and the area cleared and is safe from any hazards. He is authorizing, or he is telling that, confirming, okay, everything is done, kuch katra nahi hai, now it is ready to take over. Then these are the general conditions, do's and don'ts. Again, these can also change. I mean, mostly these are all general safety conditions. You can have corrections in this. Again, artwork also, it starts with the checklist before issuing of the permit, like about equipment, surrounding area, any manholes open. This is, I think it is a big list comparing with general permit. Okay, I'll see any other pending. We have another 4 minutes. I think you can refer this, whoever is not having awareness on this permit copies, you can refer this permit copies so that you will have an understanding what are the various checkpoints will be. Whoever is already familiar, I think for them, you can just have a high level review so that you can incorporate if any changes or updation required in your existing permits as well.
Sir, one clarification required.
Yeah, please.
In case of confined space entry, definitely stand-up person is required outside the manhole.
Correct.
Right, sir? In
Yes.
case of work at height and a hot job, Standby person is
Hard
required.
hard job. When I say hard job, they will call it as an fireman.
Okay.
When we say confined space, we'll call it as an
Work at height.
standby person.
In case
Work at
of work
height,
at height,
no, not required. Not required.
standby person is not required.
Not required.
So
In the work
अगर
at height,
ये टाइप
whenever, हाँ इधर
अगर
एक
ये टाइप
condition है.
लैडर ये टाइप लैडर लगाया
हाँ
then one person shall be there at bottom side na sir.
yeah, he will be supporting person. We can't call him as a standby.
Okay.
The standby person responsibility is completely different, Srinivas. The standby person, he'll be completely
Monitoring that
watching the
person.
activity, monitoring the activity. In case of emergency situation arises, he
Right.
has to inform and he has to react on it.
Right. Right.
But as you
Confined space
mentioned,
में whether the person who has gone inside whether he is
हाँ जो
okay
भी
or not.
सफोकेट हो गया, मतलब अनकॉन्शियस हो गया,
Right. Right. Sir.
कुछ तो गलत हुआ, तो वो रेस्क्यू करने के लिए ये आई मीन ही इज गोइंग टू बी एन मीडिएटर बिटवीन द इमरजेंसी आई मीन ERT team and the between the execution team.
Okay. Though in case of work at height, we need not to comply in the permit options, na? Standby person required.
No, it is not required. So whenever when I say height work, so there are
Hmm.
works where there they will throw the material
Hmm.
from the heights. In
Okay.
such case, we need a standby person because he has to guide the pedestrians, whoever is passing through that area, and there we have to have a barricade
Right.
where they are throwing the material. There it is a standby person is required. Even there also, I can't tell it a standby person, but he is also act as a helper who is guiding the people to avoid any such injuries in contact with
Okay.
the throwing materials. Again, throwing it is not advisable. If there is no other option, then with this precautions, one standby person and keeping a complete barricade around the area where they are throwing the materials, then it can be continued.
Right,
Okay, I
sir.
think there is no additional things from this. I already shared this template last week itself, so you can get this from institution, or you can get the direct PDF also. I prefer you can take this copy because we have highlighted the things instead of reading complete 64-page document. You can go with only highlighted points, so that that is sufficient for our understanding and also for the examination. Mostly from this topic, they will ask only what are the various sections in the permit and what are the things you will write in the permit copy. That's all, nothing else you will get from this. Or they may ask you to write what are the different types of the permits. They won't ask you to write responsibility of authorization. Mostly they will ask responsibility of the safety officer, etc. Otherwise, nothing else you will get it from this topic. Okay, we have less than 30 seconds. Any questions?